Well, it's definitely good to see both of you back, which because you guys look ageless coming back in 2016 to the WWE when SmackDown and Raw separated different brands. Now, how this happened? How does this go on? Because it was so good to see. It was like the Spirit Squad showed up, then the Headbangers showed up. I was like, what's happening here? I love it so much.
It was great. So for the longest time, so my son is now 19. He's a sophomore in college. And he's seen us do, he's seen me, he's seen us do, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of indie shows. I mean, he finds it boring. I mean, one point we looked over and he was laying on a table sound asleep in the middle of our match, but okay. So one of my dreams always was on my bucket list was to actually have him see me in a WWE ring. So when they were in town, I'd reach out to Road Dogg and Triple H and go, hey, you guys are going to be in town. Can I somehow get on the show? It's a house show. And they're like, no, insurance reasons you can't. I'm like, I'll sign a waiver. You don't have to pay me. I just want one time for him to see us in that ring. And so Road Dogg knew this all along. So Road Dogg called. I got a text one time, and I had Brian's number still on my phone, and it said, hey, are you guys available to do SmackDown on Tuesday? This was on, like, I don't know, a Thursday or Friday. And I'm like, yeah, okay, who is this, and where's the rib? And then Brian immediately called me. He's like, no. He goes, no rib at all. He goes, we're doing this storyline. He goes, you guys would fit perfectly into the storyline. You know, we'd like to have you come out and blah. And I'm like, yeah, we're in. And then, like, 2 days later, he calls me back and he goes, I'm so sorry. He said for whether it was going to be in the Fox Casino or something up in like Massachusetts, up that way, whatever that casino is up there. And he said, you got to have full blood work done and blah, blah, blah. And he said, there's no time to get it all done. He said, I'm going to try and carry the storyline over to the following week, but I can't promise. And I went, no big deal. Appreciate the thought, but if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Appreciate the thought. So purposely watch SmackDown the next Tuesday to see, okay, what's the storyline? Where do we fit into this? I see nothing. And I'm like, all right, either A, they're able to carry the story over, or I'm just dumb and I'm missing where we would fit into any of the storyline. So Tuesday comes, Wednesday comes, Thursday comes, and I don't hear anything. And I'm like, I said to Glenn, I go, I guess like we got scratched. Friday afternoon at like 4:00, I get a call from Howard Finkel. Chaz Warrington, Howard Finkel here with the WWE. You are needed at SmackDown on Tuesday night. And then boom, that was it. Within an hour, we had plane tickets. We had everything we needed. And to go back was just, again, that's in my top 3 moments of being able to go back or in my wrestling career, because, you know, my son was able to watch me live on TV. And then my wife at the time, she actually set up her phone on the floor, videoing him watching me on TV. Awesome. So when I got to come home, I got to watch him watch me, and I got to see his reactions. And it was funny. Like I got some static from fans on Twitter afterwards because I did the dad. And they're like, you never did the dad before. Like, you're just trying to be cool because the dad's in now. And so I used to do the monkey face when I used to come out. That was for my niece. That was her. When I came out and I did that, she knew that was for her. So I said to Tyler, my son, I said, I'm going back. Like, what would you want me to do? I said, I can do the monkey face. He's like, no, you do that for Amy. So we go through all those things. All of a sudden he goes, I want you to dab. And I go, not doing it. I hate the dab. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. He goes, that's why I want you to do it. So I said, fine. So I get in the ring and I get up on the corner, and the camera was just, I didn't even ask the camera guys to catch it. Because usually we talk to the camera guys, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And they just caught it. And his reaction of watching that, I got goosebumps, was like the greatest thing ever. Like, he started laughing and clapping and cheering. And it was just, so to be able to go back was amazing. And then the way we were accepted back into the locker room, I mean, we hadn't been there in 15 years. And, you know, we walk into catering and you kind of look around and go, okay, let me find someone I know and go and sit down and just get out of the way. And across the room on the other side was John Cena. And he saw us and stood up, and it was instant eye contact. And he was like, Headbangers, like across catering. He's yelling our name. And because we worked with him when he was still wrestling as the Prototype in California. We went out and did some shows, and we worked with him before, you know, he was John Cena. He was like, come on. Like, he comes over, he gives us big hugs. He's like, come on, let's catch up. So we ended up sitting down with him for a while and just shooting the shit and talking. But it was great to go back and just be like accepted right back into and as one of the boys when we hadn't been there so long.
My God, you brought tears to my eyes.
And then the match happened, and I'll let Glenn tell that part.
So for me, it was like a full circle, for everything that I went through with the knee and, the weight gain, the weight loss. And, when we were going away and we were wrestling in Smoky Mountain and USWA in Arkansas, I had 2 younger kids. I was married and I had 2 kids. So I was away I missed a lot of their growing up through the wrestling. So, and they didn't understand it. They didn't know. They were small. They were 2, 3 and 1 years old and stuff like that. So, for me, it was like a full circle, with the injury, the weight, and then having them see what pulled daddy away, for half of their life, and why it was so special and stuff like that. Because, for the longest time, they didn't think it was normal to them. Their dad being on TV, they just thought it was normal, to the point where my oldest took our action figures into school for show and tell. And she comes home, she's all upset. She's like, what's the matter? Paige, what's wrong? She's like, nobody else's daddy has an action figure. Like she, and that's when I was like, daddy has a different job. It's a little different than others and stuff like that. And, just like Chaz was saying, just the acceptance that, was given to us when we went back and stuff like that, and then to be called back, so many other times after that was just crazy. So, we were just happy to be it, to come back and have that opportunity and stuff like that for the WWE universe to be introduced to the Headbangers and stuff like that. And then the match didn't quite go, I guess, as we wanted it to.
Wait, hold on. The match went great.
Well, I'm talking about the other part, the grayed out part.
Yes, I know. So the match went great. The problem with the match ended up, and Heath and Rhino had no issue with this at all. But our thing always was when they brought an outside people in and they hurt one of the regular guys, we're like, that's fucked up. Like, you're coming in here and you're hurting like our guys. Like, someone's hurt now or whatever. So we give Heath the double flapjack, and he bites his tongue, so he's got all blood running out of his mouth. And then I run over and knock Rhino off the apron. Well, it just was perfect where the point of my elbow caught him right here, and he ended up with 8 stitches. Blood was all running down his face. So we go through it. We're both perfectly fine with it. Nobody said a word to us about it. They were like, shit happens, no big deal. But we're leaving, and we're driving back. We're like, well, if there was any chance of us coming back, that just got shit canned. We came in and everyone's bleeding all over the place. Like, we were those guys that came in and hurt the talent.
15 years we waited to come back, and we just let everybody bloody.
That'll teach them.
That's right.
And yeah, they called us back 2 weeks later, and then they called us back the third time right before Survivor Series. So it was pretty cool.
If there was a story, if there was a movie about your careers, that would be the perfect ending to it because of your trials and tribulations through life and going through them and becoming who you are now, and then in 2016 getting brought back, being able to show your children what you've done and what you did for them. Yeah, you brought up, I have 3 small children. They don't understand when daddy goes away for the weekend to go travel to cover wrestling. They don't understand why is daddy leaving us. But yet you both probably had the same situations of you're trying to be a great dad, but you're also trying to do a great job.
It was funny, too, because one of the times that we went back was in Trenton, New Jersey. And we're both from South Jersey. So Trenton was only, 40 minutes up the turnpike. So both of my daughters were able to go see it live.
Awesome.
So, and that was just something for me, just for them to see it and stuff like that it was awesome.
That's
amazing.
I was
fortunate. I was single with no responsibility when we were on the road. So it didn't matter. But the funny part for me is I was close with my niece. She's my goddaughter. I was close with her, but when I was come home, I'd like go to her basketball games, and she couldn't understand why she used to get mad because people would see me, they'd come running over. They'd want to talk. They want to take pictures. They want autographs and stuff like that. And she literally would grab my hand. She's like, "This is my uncle, not yours. We're leaving. Like, let's go."